Hope you all had energized. And now to add more energy to us, we have two important speakers. And before telling about them, now be it a speech or be it an evaluation or be it anything, we follow a certain set of rules. And as an officer, it is even more important to follow those rules and manners in certain situations. Now, to tell us about those etiquettes, we have a lady who is poised in it, who is an epitome of being poised. And well, you guessed it right. It's distinguished Toastmaster Neena Jan. She is a chartered member of Chennai Toastmaster Club, which is the first club in Tamil Nadu. Currently, she is the current mentor pool chair, and she's also an author and executive coach and a professional speaker too. And she has done a lot more things where this list goes on and on. And so please help me welcome our distinguished Toastmaster Neena Jan to present her speech.
Thank you, sir. Pleasure to be here. Very long time, all of 1 year since I addressed the last officers training program. So wonderful to see this entire new set of people that are coming in, and welcome to all of you. Yeah, I'd like to say good evening once again, and we're talking about etiquette. So let me start off with an incident that happened to me a couple of years ago. I had attended or participated in a demo meeting for Toastmasters. And in the bio, they had mentioned that I'm an executive coach. In that, they also said, one second, I think my picture is being pixelated a bit, is it?
Slightly, ma'am, because of the background.
That's because of the background, Neena.
Better?
Yeah.
Same.
So generally, after the meeting was over, this gentleman comes up to me and says, "Oh, how wonderful to hear all about your coaching and things. I want to join your coaching program." So I said, "Welcome. I was very happy to find someone who's so interested in this." So I said, "What do you do?" So he says, "No, I'm in the middle management over here. I want to go on to further my career. So when can we meet?" So I said, "Well, usually Saturdays is a good day, but where do you stay and what do you do?" So he said, "Saturdays is fine. I stay beyond Sholinganallur, but I will come to Anandnagar." I said, "Are you sure?" He said, "Yes, of course, no problem. I have a small course which I will finish, and as soon as that is over, I will get in touch with you." I said, "Welcome." So around 4 months later, he called up and said, "Can I come and meet you?" So I was quite pleased that the gentleman was so committed and determined to join. So I said, "Okay, Saturday, since it's the first day, come on 5 o'clock. He said, "Fine." So 5 o'clock arrived, 6 o'clock arrived, no sign of this gentleman. So I called up because I said, "If you're coming from Sholinganallur to Anandnagar, there's a tendency to get lost because there are so many lanes and by lanes and streets and whatever." So he said, "Fine." He said, "No, actually, since I was coming over there is my classmate over here. So I went to say hi to him. So I'm in his house now. So is it okay if I come around 7 o'clock? That got me a little upset, but I said, "Okay, never mind, just come anyway." 7 o'clock arrived, 7:30 arrived. Still no sign of our man. So I called up again. I said, "Excuse me, have you lost your way or is there a problem?" "No, madam, my classmate, no, he's seeing me after a long time. So he and his wife said, sit and have dinner with us. So when dinner is over, I will come there around 8 o'clock. For a appointment." I said, "Please do us both a favor. Don't come here ever. I am not going to take you up for coaching. I'm not going to take you up for anything else. Because first lesson you have to learn in being professional is being punctual. There is absolutely no alternative to that. And you have to get into this if you feel that you have to be part of any organization. In Toastmasters, professionalism is key to all of us, and we imbibe it sometimes unconsciously by the fact that we insist on our meetings starting and ending on time. For years, when we started Toastmasters at CTM, we would find that we were starting 3 minutes late. I don't know what it was about. That was just, around a year. We were like 4 minutes, 3 o'clock, Sergeant at Arms will start. So we said, no, we have to stop it. And we got back to 4 o'clock. And CTM continues this tradition of starting at 4 and continuing to end around maximum couple of times 6:05, 6:10, not more than that. So punctuality, the first thing that you have to learn in Toastmasters. This applies especially if you are a district officer, area director, division director, whatever, and you have an appointment with a corporate office. I agree that you may not, now of course, physical visits have started again. So if you do have that, please remember, if your appointment is at 3 o'clock, you should reach the venue by 2:15 or 2:30, because you need to park your vehicle, you need to check out the security arrangements. If it says 3 o'clock, you should be in that gentleman or that lady's office at 3 o'clock. No more and no less. It doesn't matter if you have to sit in the waiting room for some time. It doesn't matter if you're not offered coffee over there for some time. Just sit until it is time for you to meet that person. Punctuality, especially with regard to outside of Toastmasters, absolutely essential part of your DNA. Similarly, when you go to meet anyone in a corporate office, please ensure that you know whom you are going to meet and whether or not they are decision makers. Far too often we have Toastmasters early and they're very excited and they're jumping around, running around, getting all the district officers to come. And then you go and land up there and you find one junior HR person who has absolutely no decision-making authority. And I can tell you from experience, there was one HR executive who was very smart. She changed jobs thrice. And each time she would invite a Toastmasters demo in her company so that she could get brownie points for her initiative in setting up a new thing. She knew nothing would happen, but she got her brownie points and she moved from company to company. And we felt like utter idiots going there, doing a demo and nobody taking further action. So one, ensure that you know who are the decision makers, and B, you know who is going to join the Toastmasters from that organization. Similar incident I can give you where somebody from Delhi has said, we have 16 offices all over the country. We're going to set up Toastmasters everywhere. And, you know, we got very excited. All of us went. One big carload of us lined up for this demo meeting. Very interested, very enthusiastic crowd, about 15, 20 people. And then we find they're all probationers. Not one of them is probably going to be in that company for more than a year or two. And these people say, no, actually, we just wanted to see what it was like. Not one person was there. So ensure you know the hierarchy of the place that you are going to. Check and confirm with mails. You will also have the situation where senior people will call you and then suddenly client has arrived from America or there's a town hall meeting or something like that and your meeting is cancelled. That you just have to go with the flow and carry on with it. But when you are going, please remember you are representing Toastmasters. So one, be punctual. Two, be dressed in semi-formal attire. I don't think you need to wear suit and blazer and everything else for a visit, but definitely formal shirt. If it's a Zoom meeting, I would say that is a practice that you should continue as an area director, as a division director. Please do not wear a shabby t-shirt or just a home wear salwar kameez kind of thing and expect to carry it off. Even during regular club meetings, make sure that your club members, especially the role players, are fairly formally dressed to some extent. That makes an impression on guests who come in. They understand the seriousness of the occasion. And a lot of people used to say, why do we need to wear ties and shirts for Toastmasters? Believe me, if you're in the corporate world, you have to make presentations. And if you're going to make presentations, you have to be dressed according to the occasion. So Toastmasters actually gives you that kind of training. So learn to be dressed according to the occasion, according to your audience. And the very, very old rule of public speaking, always dress one step above the audience wherever possible. It gives you lots of self-confidence. The same thing I would say now that you're having Zoom meetings, there's a lot of the latest Gucci shirts, I think, or blazers are all like cut off below the bust. So you can wear that, but believe me, Murphy's Law will say that that's the day the door opens and you have to get up for something or the other. So don't take the chance. We have enough Zoom stories of people wearing blazers and Bermuda shorts or briefs underneath, and we're treated to some very unhealthy sights. So make sure you're properly dressed. The other thing about being properly dressed, even down to your footwear, is the fact that once you're dressed, you kind of file that away and you don't have to worry about any of these things. You're concentrating on the meeting, you're going ahead with the meeting. So being fully dressed for a meeting is definitely part of the thing. Go ahead, wear your deodorant and perfume also if you want, but make sure you're really dressed. Similarly, when we invite people for our club meetings. Now, if you're having a milestone meeting, and you want to make a big event out of it, you want to invite dignitaries, starting with the trio and everybody else, please plan well in advance. Let them have at least 3 weeks notice so that they can either adjust their program or tell you very clearly whether they are available or not, and send mails addressed to each member separately. Do not put a post in Facebook and say, we're having a milestone meeting, everybody please come. Not one dignitary is going to come. Not one person. We had a club which had flyers with their founders, sponsors, mentors, and what 7 or 8 people on their flyer, all the, whoever had a hand in setting that club up. The president had not invited a single person over the phone or mail. They had a glorious milestone meeting with not one of the dignitaries that was there on the flyer. So I can see Reena nodding, so she knows exactly which meeting I'm talking about. So if you want to invite a dignitary, please get their permission, and get their permission before you put before your flyer has their photographs on it. Similarly, do not put something on the D120 leadership WhatsApp group and say, hope to see you there, when somebody just likes your announcement. If you want me to come for your meeting, send me a message, make a phone call, send me a mail, do something. And that mail should not start off with Dear Toastmaster. It should please have my name, at least say Dear Mrs. John, if not DTM John. So remember, for club meetings, if you're having dignitaries, ensure that they are properly briefed. What is the meeting? What is the agenda? How much time they have? And please don't invite every Tom, Dick and Harry of a district officer and then expect them to just sit there. Give them 2 minutes, 3 minutes to speak. Tell them what they want to speak on. What is the occasion? People will come and do that. Again, when the dignitaries are there in your meeting, the Toastmaster of the day should be fully briefed about the titles of each district officer. What is that person's current role? What is that person's history in Toastmasters? Do a little homework. Check out, these are probably people who have something on LinkedIn. They're probably something you can find out from elsewhere. Talk to other people and make sure that your biodatas are not the usual thing that everybody has. District trios, district officers can always send a little bit of a description about themselves, but please do a little homework and see that it's properly done, and make sure that they know how to pronounce the name. Even with a small four-letter name like mine, I get called Nina, Naina, Nina Jones, George. I have variations that I don't know. I have yet to find out what they're all about. So make sure you have the right name and you do that. And similarly, if you have a problem in your clubs, please first try and settle it within the club itself. If there is an issue that has to be raised, talk to your area director. Get information from that person, whether what is happening is right or wrong, whether it's a red flag, whether you should raise the issue or not. If the AD does not respond sufficiently to your complaint, the next point of action is, or next station of action, so to speak, would be your division director. Talk to your division director if you feel that the area director has not done the justice to your complaint, whatever it is. So it's like area director, division director. After that, only you should approach the trio. You can write directly to the district director, raising your points and saying, this is what has happened. What can I do about it? What would you like done about it? If you're still not satisfied with the district director or the trio's replies, there is something or somebody called a region advisor. Please send your complaints to region advisor. Do not waste time, energy, and absolute exercise in futility would be to write to Dan Rex and say, I want my situation done, taken care of right now. We have 142,000 members and things like that. Do you think Dan Rex has the time to sit and read 40 different complaints about he said, she said, and that is why I'm saying this? No, he doesn't. And most of the time, the issues are very, very petty issues. They're just personal spite and personal thing. So don't waste anybody's time by doing that. Again, in terms of protocol, if you are writing to any of these people, it is also protocol for you to copy the district trio in the loop so that they know that you have raised this issue at that level and they can respond suitably at the particular level or not. Now remember, if you have raised an issue and you have not got an answer, there may be several reasons for that. Let me give you the example of campaign violations. I was a district leadership chair, and I can tell you that there were some candidates who constantly raised this issue of campaign violation. So-and-so did this, so-and-so did that. This is against campaign protocol 1, 2, 3, subclause number 2, and so on and so forth. So now the thing is, the district trio has taken action. But if I have taken action, it is not incumbent on me as a trio member to tell you what action I have taken. I will simply tell you action has been taken. I will not tell you what is the action taken. And if the violation has ceased, that's all you need to know about it. You cannot expect me to write to you and say such and such a person violation occurred and such a person has been warned or not warned, or such and such a person has, this action has been taken. None of that will come to you. You will only get a message saying action has been taken upon receiving your complaint. So please don't harass the senior people. I can tell you very clearly, I have received dozens of mails for all these kinds of situations. So it is literally a breach of protocol for you to keep harassing a senior officer like that. So ensure that you don't do that. Ensure that you go through the hierarchy when you have all these different things to do, and ensure that you have a genuine complaint before you do all of these. Again, if you're having a complaint, please make sure it is documented, that you have evidence to prove that some violation has occurred. Quote the exact rule in either the judges contest, the contest rule book, or the campaign protocol book, whatever it is. Give us the specific current rule that is going on and say this has been violated. Do not expect someone to say, I think this is wrong and therefore it should be done. Similarly, for contests and other things, understand your rules, understand when you can raise a protest and when the protest will be ignored or when it will be accepted. Contest rules say your complaints have to be raised before results are declared. If you find something later in terms of eligibility or whatever, then you can send that evidence to the thing, and perhaps that winner's ribbon or whatever will be removed. But otherwise, make sure you know your rules. So by and large, these are the kind of things that I would like you all to remember. In terms of protocol, again, every one of you has been an area director or is a current division director from a current club. Please, as club members, recognize the presence of people who are current district officers within your club each time that you have a meeting. Don't, for example, like I have Nadira Faiz from my club. Don't just say, hi, Nadira. Say, Area Director Nadira Faiz is there for our meeting today. Division Director Nadira Faiz is there for our meeting today. And recognize that. That is part of the protocol. Similarly, with all the district officers, ensure that you know whether they are DTMs. I've been happily awarding DTMs to a lot of people who don't have DTMs, and they write back and say, I'm not a DTM. Wait till I am before you do that. So it's rather, I would rather you err on that side rather than remove the DTM from somebody who has maybe 2 or 3 DTMs. So all of these things, please keep in mind. And I think I have some green light. So I have a little time for questions and answers. If anyone wants to raise them, please feel free to do so. Anybody with any questions?
Ma'am, it's not a question. This is Nadira over here. So you had made a point, you had made a mention saying that across when the campaigning was going on, that you had mentioned that action has been taken. So if this does occur across a division, and if such a complaint does come up, whatsoever it be, it can be just mentioned that action has been taken, but there need not be a mention of what action has been taken. Is
not give an explanation. No. One thing I would like to mention, even during your correspondence, please respect the member, address the member by name, say please, thank you, and apologize whenever required. So please, thank you, and sorry, keep that in your arsenal for your emails. Understand when you should send emails, understand when you should send WhatsApps, and if you're sending an email, please do not mark reply all and have the whole entire set of district officers reading some unnecessary emails. Yes, ma'am. I hope that covered your question. Thank you, Nadira. Anybody else?
Nina, ma'am, this is Aarti here. From an experience, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Assuming that this happened in my AD term and in my division director term, I get an email. What is the acceptable time period within which I should reply? Because we get emails, next 10 minutes, we get a WhatsApp message stating that I've sent you an email, please check. And if you're not able to check it, we end up with another call also. So.
Okay, by and large, remember the rule about emails. 1, if you have sent an email, do not assume it has reached. B, if it has reached, do not assume it has been read. C, if it has been read, do not assume it is understood. So I would say a 24-hour window for the recipient to understand what is happening and maybe take action. Simplest action for any district officer is to simply send a reply saying, mail received, duly noted, will revert. That buys you time. That tells the other person that your mail has been seen, and it's up to them. And then it's up to you, depending on the action required, whether you will take the action or not. So I would say 24 hours is a good window of time for people to reply. Please try and reply within 24 hours, because otherwise WhatsApps and goodness knows what else will fly all over the place. Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for that.
Ma'am, this question is related to Nadira's question. I mean, like, I understand the difficulty of the people who are taking up roles, and it will be difficult for members to reply to each and every queries that are coming during such times. Maybe should we consider as a district to come up with a process during our council meetings to read out about such kind of violations of the actions that are being taken, or any one-stop place where we can go and see the actions that have been taken against such complaints which had come on board.
That would be a good idea. You could send that to the trio and suggest that. So maybe on the website you can have, like FAQs, frequent violations, FAVs or something like that, frequent violations and actions taken, FEAs. Maybe we can have something like that on the website. Also, most people don't read the rules closely enough. So some of the violations are out of sheer ignorance, and some are willfully done, but then we have to take things with a grain of salt.
Absolutely.
Thank you, ma'am. Any other questions? Is that all? Come on, ask questions, officers. Unless you ask, you won't get the answers. And you won't know what you didn't know until you ask the questions. So, anybody else?
When there are more than one district officers, can you share the order in which they have to be recognized, especially in a corporate milestone meeting kind of scenario where we may also have senior people from the corporate? Can you reiterate the order?
Think it would probably be senior most CEO and all the rest. Similarly, district director and all the rest. It is only when you have an installation ceremony where the whole thing becomes reversed. So you install sergeant, just as you do at the clubs. So you install your sergeant at arms first and your president last, because your president is going to do the incoming address and do the felicitation. But otherwise, I would say by and large, senior most person first and the others. Of course, being Zoom meetings and being Indians, you'll find people drifting in, so you can probably recognize in the order of appearance rather than anything else.
Ma'am, in lines with what Toastmaster Gayatri had just brought out, so in the recognition, it would be important for us to even recognize the presence of previous district governors and whatnot, ma'am. So even that
Absolutely.
they will come after the recognition of the current leaders.
Yes, you should mention that. And this is the reason why, especially at conferences and other places, when you have people attending, it is necessary for a senior Toastmaster, like we had those awards for senior Toastmasters that we got at the recent convention. Have a couple of senior people to tell you who are the people who just logged in or whatever, and send a note to the MC or whatever that they should be recognized. Yes.
Neera, you can talk a bit about.
Yeah, well, one sec. Let me just finish that. If you have people just entering and this thing, it is not necessary for you to ask them to speak unless they're part of the agenda. So just a recognition is more than enough. Sorry. Yes.
Neera, you can just touch upon this part of due diligence, because a lot of people, in their enthusiasm to start clubs, just go and open up clubs, and then I said in the morning that I call them the 1-year clubs. So they start in 1 year and they close in the next year, right? And
yeah, but even worse are the ones that go limping along in the ICU for 6 months or 1.5 years. I can tell you my experience with Amazon. Right, when Amazon first started, I attended what was supposed to be their 20th or 21st meeting. There were all of 2.5 people attending. All right. I say half because one person kept popping in and out. So every 5 minutes, that person would appear and then disappear. They had a very senior HR person on that day. And, I think it was actually Saro who was mentoring that club, faithfully attending every meeting and doing all these things. And all these people would turn up. Even on the day that I went, the 19th, 20th meeting, not one project had been completed. Not one. And even the person who was the people who were there were kind of saying, oh, nobody's there, okay, I'll speak. So they would have done some half-baked icebreaker and went on. So I told the HR person, she had come down from Bangalore. I said, please, you are wasting your time, you're wasting Toastmasters time. We are not, and many of us, I know, are corporate people who take half a day's leave or permission or whatever to go attend a meeting somewhere, and then you land up there and they say, no, we have a town hall today, oh, the client has come. I have gone from Annanagar to Sholanganalluru and been told, sorry, we don't have a meeting today, I forgot to inform you, right? So when you see that kind of thing happening, you know that the club is not serious. Two things you need to be very, very conscious about. One, at least one junior person who is an ardent champion. They're the ones who probably come to you with a lead. Yes, take their help. But B, make sure that there is somebody in the top management who understands Toastmasters and is willing to back it, even if they don't attend or even if they're not a member. And my advice to most people is, do not charter a club immediately. Start your meetings. Check out your meetings. Go for 3 months. See if the timing is okay. If people are happy with the permutations and combinations of timings, venue, all of those things, let it get steady for about 3 months. Then you will go in for chartering. Have a grand chartering ceremony, because by that time everyone's very proud of being a Toastmaster. Then you will find that the club is good. But just chartering a club to get a number on this thing and just to get bragging rights for yourself, pointless exercise.
Thank you, Neena.
Thank you, sir. Yes, timer red card is ready. All right, so I will be around till this thing is over. Any questions you want, please feel free to chat, send it on chat or WhatsApp. And I'm always available anytime you'll want to call up personally and do that also. So thank you very much to the current trio for inviting me, Satish, Gayatri, and Arti. And thank you to all the Toastmasters here. And congratulations to all the district officers taking up a new term, new beginnings. Let's have D120 rocking. Thank you.